And we're back.
Now let's get talking about the famous Rick James skit, because it has to be one of the most popular skits that Dave Chappelle has ever done. It has, all those famous lines like "fuck your couch," "what did 5 fingers say to the face," and one of my favorite lines, "I think I'm bleeding inside my chest."
Well, you also feel like Rick James quote, cocaine's one hell of a drug.
Yeah, which you can basically put that clip on any random shit you find on
And
YouTube.
it'll just fit. It will fit.
Well, one of the things that is hilarious about this is it's horribly exaggerated, but this is actually something that actually happened. Where Rick James got fucked up and he punched Charlie Murphy, Eddie Murphy's brother. And keep in mind, this was in a segment called, what was the segment called? It was like a parody of E! True Hollywood Story. But this is the second one, I think. The first one, I think, was the Prince segment.
Yeah, the first one was the Prince, and then the other one was, I think it was like something with Charlie Murphy. And then the title, I think.
Untold Stories with Charlie Murphy or something like that.
Yeah, it was like something like that, like the perspective from Charlie Murphy.
And keep in mind, they actually had Charlie Murphy narrating this, and he was in the skit. Although I think he even played his brother in the Prince skit. And he's just doing
like Dave Chappelle.
That was Chappelle
Yeah,
dressed up like his brother.
In fact, you see him doing. He's like, "Oh, hey, what's up, Prince?" It was like high pitch. It sounded like Chappelle. I'm pretty sure.
I thought they just used audio clip. An audio clip. I thought it was his brother doing an impersonation. But anyway, yeah, this has to be one of the funniest things. It's just this whole concept. It's kind of hard to explain because everybody has seen the skit. Everybody quoted it to the point where they almost ruined it.
Yeah, I remember, going through school, so many people would say it,
Like, Rick James, bitch.
Yeah, like, everyone would say it. And, I'm surprised the R. Kelly one didn't get that famous.
I don't know that one.
The R. Kelly song? I wanna piss on you.
No, I don't remember that.
What?
I haven't seen every episode.
Oh my god, you're messing out.
I'll go. It's on Netflix. I'll look it up.
Okay, yeah, you better.
But yeah, that's basically all the skits I could think of off the top of my head. Like right now, they probably hit me later on when we're already done talking about this.
There's a lot that's just, it's so good. And you're like, oh yeah, you remember that, and you remember that, and you remember that.
And it was kind of happening to me on another episode, where it's just like I kept interrupting you because things kept popping in my head. I think it was the sci-fi episode.
Okay.
Well, might as well go into the stuff that kind of molded our sense of comedy. And it's kind of hard to pinpoint what our sense of comedy is, because it's kind of hard to differentiate bad comedy to good comedy. I know that's there's really no such thing. It depends on your taste.
Well, yeah, it's really from a biased perspective. It's what we either grew up on, or what we really became disgusted in because someone could have ruined it for us.
One thing between us that seems to be one of our main things is we don't like just blind references. We actually have a joke. That's why movies like Epic Movie is not funny.
Well, I don't know what the director name is or anything.
It's a 2-man crew, I think.
Like that.
They're man children. That's all they are. They don't know how to actually write a joke. They know how to copy a joke. They know how to make something look like a joke.
And you know what the sad part is? They make a huge profit. They spend only $1 million to make the movie.
What did I say yesterday? There's an idiot born every second. There's always somebody there to make money off them.
Yeah, sucker born every minute to make that money. Easy peasy.
It's but the whole concept of parody is basically dead in theaters. I think on the internet it's still going.
I don't know, I even tried to rewatch Airplane. I don't know if my humor has changed or something, but I was actually falling asleep through it. And I wasn't laughing as much as I used to when I was younger. I was like,
Maybe because it's, I don't know, maybe because it might be dated or it might be jokes.
I think it's the fact that it's overexposure of this kind of humor. I mean, you do see it on the internet.
Yeah, but back then though, it was like new kind of comedy. I still think Airplane is hilarious. It's a hilarious movie.
Yeah, but like for some reason, like even with Monty Python, I even have problems going back. Like I look back at it and I find myself not laughing.
I can't really get into Monty Python's Flying Circus. It's surreal humor, and it, for the most part, it does work. But after a while, the death note for surreal humor, for surreal comedy, is when it becomes predictable. When you see it coming, that's the death note of surreal comedy. But I think they went as long as they could. Adventure Time is kind of a prime example of this, where it's constantly throwing you shit you don't see coming.
And you know, I was like, I remember when I first got into the series, and I was really thinking like, oh, this is gonna suck. And I hated it. I really did hate it.
I wasn't aware of it until somebody asked me to watch it online.
Yeah. And, you know, I started, the first episode was like, what? It didn't become it kind of came into my expectation of being, sporadic and random. But I mean, it caught me off guard. Well, I think the most that really caught me off guard was when one of the zombies come out and they grab a bubblegum.
That first episode. What the fuck?
Yeah, there's that line like, give me some sugar, baby. I was like, what?
The whole episode is what? That's all you can say during the whole episode. Because it's the first episode.
Yeah, and there's like candy, you're like...
They don't explain shit. They just like throw you in this world. And it's like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah,
but it's entertaining though.
Yeah, that's what's so weird. Like, I'm like, why does this work, but this doesn't work?
But it's weird.
Like, Adventure Time is like one of the hardest things to explain to people why you like it. It's like...
It's surreal. It's surreal. That's basically all you can say. It's colorful. It's imaginative.
Yeah, and, it's hard to explain to people. Like, when people hate it, like, I came in hating it, and now I love it. Like, I can go and watch, like, any of the episodes.
Now, there's on the other side, and this is a show I actually thought it isn't that bad. I went in thinking it was going to be shit, because it looked terrible. It was like, oh god, it's this Flapjack again. Whereas this gross out humor and just stupidity the whole way through. Uncle Grandpa. It looked like it was going to be that. But Uncle Grandpa is kind of this, it's like Adventure Time, but it's not grounded at all. Adventure Time has some rhyme and reason. Uncle Grandpa has no rhyme or reason. It just does shit just for the sake of doing shit. It's just weird. It's just weird things being thrown at you constantly, but it's not as well done. It's just, and keep in mind, these are I'm fully aware that these are shows that are designed to entertain children. But Adventure Time, for some reason, has gotten so many adults into it.
Yeah, which is it's quite bizarre, especially since like with my kind of humor I grew up to. Well, I think what it is it feeds like our old humor that we used to watch, like Ed, Edd n Eddy. Well, for me, and Courage the Cowardly Dog. Like, I feel like I'm rewatching those episodes in something.
It felt
else.
like not old school, but it felt like.
Yeah, not like Tom and Jerry. I got
it felt like old school Cartoon Network. This felt like something that would belong with the cartoons.
Like, if it was with that time, yeah. It really seemed like it fit in.
And keep in mind, not all of those are great. Look at Cow and Chicken. That was constant craziness being thrown at your face, but it was stupid.
It was horrible.
Granted, there was some funny jokes in there. And then did you know there's banned episodes of that show?
I didn't. Well, I should have figured. Come on.
I mean, there's one episode where a bunch of female bikers break in their house and start eating the carpet. Keep in mind, they all have mullets and wearing jeans and all that. Can you get the joke? Bunch of women in mullets eating the carpet.
I'm sensing a sex joke, but I don't know what it is.
They're lesbians. That's the joke.
Okay.
It's a pack of lesbians eating the carpet. You know, carpet, vagina.
Yeah, I'm out of the lingo for that stuff. You know, that's some part with like reference humor like that. I'm like, it flew over my head because I don't know the lingo for it. I mean, I can kind of picture like, okay, yeah, the lesbians. But
They're
eating-
like literally eating the carpet in the house. Eating the carpet. You know,
Yeah.
I can't believe I haven't explained this.
I haven't
I've-
heard of terms like
we'll edit
that.
that out.
I haven't heard terms like that.
Anyway, Cow and Chicken was this kind of like craziness being thrown at you, but no rhyme or reason. I mean,
Well, I think also the problem is the characters were really unlikable.
yeah, they weren't supposed to be likable. It was supposed to be caricatures of characters. They weren't supposed to be actual characters.
Yeah.
I was not a big Ed and Eddie fan. I didn't really start watching it until way later. But there is some like hidden jokes in there that I really like. Then there's some fucked up jokes, like Oedipus. There's a joke where Ed says, "I am Oedipus." You know what Oedipus did? The actual Oedipus. It's a figure from history.
Yeah, I know I've heard the name before, but I'm trying.
Keep in mind, Ed was dressed up like an octopus.
Okay, yeah.
So that's where the joke comes from. But Oedipus was mostly known for killing his father and marrying and having sex with his mother.
Okay.
Yeah, so some fucked up comedy in there. Also, there's like with the character Rolf, there is in the Mexican, in the Spanish dub, that sounded horrible. In the Spanish dub of Ed and Eddie, Ralph or Rolf?
Rolf.
Rolf says something like, there's a bit where he says something like Ed Boy or whatever he refers to them as.
Yeah.
I think the Ed Boys or something.
Yeah, usually I like terms for them quite a bit.
He says basically he threw further than the toaster my dad hit me with. It's like, the fuck is up with this show? And keep in mind, the guy who created it, he was bet that he could not make a kids show, and that was him winning a bet because he made a kids show. He was challenged to make a kids show. This was just him trying to win a bet.
Well, the funny thing is that's a bet that did really well.
Yeah, if you look at his early stuff, he's made really fucked up shit. He was on Liquid Television a lot. You probably don't remember that. That's probably, hell, it's almost before my time.
Mm-hmm.
Liquid TV was basically it was basically not a channel. It was the segment on MTV that was basically made for hipsters and nerds,
Okay.
animation nuts and all that. That's where you got a lot of really experimental stuff. That's where Avon Flux came from. Just really weird shit, and it's just, yeah, you can tell that this guy made like some really warped stuff in his career. And going to Ed and Eddie, it's like, you're like, what the fuck is wrong with this cartoon?
I never had the problem. I was like, oh, this is enjoyable.
Well, no, I watched it recently. That's why I'm saying this. As a kid, I was like 13 when I first saw the show. Not saw.
Well, yeah, even now, I mean, I guess because I grew up with that, I'm like, oh, I just.
Like my childhood, when it comes to like comedy, is more centered around Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry. I grew up on Mel Brooks movies. A lot of my favorite comedies are Mel Brooks movies. I also grew up on Jerry Lewis. And okay, I said before we got started, I said that Rodney Dangerfield was the most obnoxious comedian ever.
Mm-hmm.
But nope, Jerry Lewis is far more annoying but funnier.
Okay.
Well, I guess from here we'll just go into like the early stuff that molded our sense of comedy. For me, it was, I already said a bit of the stuff I grew up on, but we'll go further in the next segment. We'll be right back.